Hi there, it's Lee at MyProductiveMac here, and this is the last in my introductory deep dive video series into DEVONthink. If you want to know more about how to use the app, I'll be putting some links to some top resources by other content creators in the description below. So check those out, they're great, and they'll certainly help you get more depth if you need it. Today, however, I'm going to cover the basics of searching for your stuff within DEVONthink, because the more you put in there, the more resistance and friction you may find when it comes to actually retrieving it. I know this because I've been there myself, but the search capabilities in DEVONthink are great. And first of all, we'll take a look at filtering the content that you have on show. So if you come up to Tools and then down to Filter, we've got 4 options here, and the first 2 of them I do use regularly, the bottom 2 not so much. But let's look at Info first. So down here in the sidebar, we've got some areas now that can be selected to filter our selected content. So first of all, we've got dates, where you can filter based on the date added, created, modified, opened, due, or indeed any date at all. And if you have specified something like a date modified option, simply select that date in the calendar picker to filter your content. And then below that, you can filter based on different marks that you might have applied to the files. So clicking here will just show you items that you flagged. If I come across into the main window, it only looks like there's one flagged item there, which is the iOS group. However, if I expand these groups here, we can see that there are more flags hiding. Then to deactivate that filter, I'll just click it again. Okay, let's collapse that and look along this line once more. So this button here filters between showing read and unread items. Then to the right of that, whether the file is locked or unlocked. Then you can also filter based on this star rating that you may have given to a certain file or group. And then finally, to the far right, we have a filter based on a label that you've given. So I will just show my to-do items here and then come up and break these open. And there are my 2 labeled items there. There's another filter below the marks row, and this allows you to filter based on the item's location. So you can show files that have just been imported, those that have just been indexed, or indeed both. Okay, let's come up to Tools and look at the next filter option, which is Tags. And I'll just click and drag this here to make it a little bit bigger. Now we've got a nice cloud window of tags there. So the larger the tag, the more items you're going to see. And then click on the tags to apply the filters. And then to remove any of them, simply click to the far right of each of the tags names if you don't want them applied anymore. The next filter option up here is multimedia. And if you do keep multimedia files in your DEVONthink databases, this will be truly useful. You can switch between the different file types. And then you can filter on different attributes like file size or the duration of the audio or video. The final filter type is a map one. And DEVONthink 3 will need to access your current location for this, something I haven't enabled before. And a map appears here. And because I had never allowed location services to be running with DEVONthink until just then, none of my files here will be recognized as created at my office here. So they will from now on. However, this will currently not work for me. But if you add files from a variety of locations, so perhaps you work on several sites, then you can filter based on where that location was. Then at the bottom here, rather than coming up to Tools to select your filter or using a keyboard shortcut, you can click these buttons here to move between the different filter options. Let's take a look at searching with the search bar up here now. So I've not modified this at all. You will see the default behavior for a search now. So just type and the results are posted below. A summary of how many results were found and how long it took is here. And that was a case-sensitive search there, but I can type FaceTime all in lowercase and the results are still the same. The content of the files is searched as well as the name. So this item here doesn't have FaceTime in the name, but if I come down here in the body of the file, we can see the word FaceTime and it's even highlighted it for us. And another cool thing that you can do with DEVONthink is find a word within a file, right-click it, come down to search, and a DEVONthink search will be executed on that word. And we can see that up here. Now this simple search does have some options that you can get to if you click on the magnifying glass here. So these top 2, live while typing and partial matches while typing, will show you results live as you type, but in slightly different ways. So let me uncheck these first. And we can see that by unchecking the top one, it automatically deselects the partial one because it can't work without it. So let's search for FaceTime once more. And there's nothing until I press return. And then the results are presented. Now I'll click the magnifying glass again and click on that top option. And what this will do is it will present options as I type, but with the D typed here, any results that have a D in the name, there's nothing highlighted there to suggest that they are a perfect type of match. And as I continue to type, there's still nothing, and it's only once the full word is typed that we can see bolding in the name there as a match. Whereas if I delete this and then come into the magnifying glass again, I'll select the partial option. And as I type the first letter and each subsequent one, we have bolding there. It's matching as I type. Okay, some other options that appear here under the magnifying glass. We've got ignore diacritics, and these are accented characters that you usually find in foreign languages. Then below that, we have a fuzzy search, which can show words that are pronounced the same, but they have a different spelling. And below that, we can limit the search between all databases, the inboxes, and also the database that you've selected. And then there are some recent searches at the bottom. Now, this does only show full searches. That is searches where you've pressed return to execute it. And that's why we can only see the FaceTime search here. And then to remove that list of recent searches, just click clear entries. Let's take a look at some search indexes now. So if you want to minimize your searches to just include things like the name, label, tag, or content, then type in the index identifier followed by a colon. So I'll do name, colon here, and then type in a keyword. So anything with focus in the name is listed. I'll just stretch it a bit. I'll make it focus then mode, and the results are trimmed down just a little bit. And when you're searching in DEVONthink, you can use Boolean search operators as well. So if I type in the word and in capitals, followed by another word, we now only have one result returned. Let's close this. And just look at another search index. So if you just want to find certain text, then you can type text with a colon and then the search keyword. And if I click, there is the proof highlighted that the keyword is indeed present in the text. And just another example of a Boolean search term, you can use the word or in capitals. So now I'm searching for chili or basil, and the results here have the keyword in. Now, if you want to have a list of search indexes, then just go into the DEVONthink manual and you'll find a load listed there. Let's take a look at some more complex searches now. So I'll type in a search term here. And then down here, you can quick click these scope boxes to very quickly change the scope of the search. And as I click these, you see in the search window what the actual search syntax is going to be. Now, if you're searching in a particular location and you don't want it to search in any subgroups from there, then clicking the exclude subgroups will make sure that any results for items that are contained within subgroups are removed. And in my case, that's kind of all of them. Now, if you want to manually build a more complicated search, then click on Advanced. And we have some options below that allow us to manually build the search that we want. So I'll change the scope to be in the MyTech research database, and then click here to look at the first attribute that we will search for. So we've got loads of options here. You can just check them out as you like. I'm just going to go for name at the top, and I'm going to leave those other options there. And then on the right, I'm going to click the plus button to add a little bit more complexity. So let's say here I also want to only see files that are marked. And what are they going to be marked with? I'm going to leave them marked as flagged there. And we're down to 2 remaining results. And there's no real limit to how many blocks you can add in here for filtering. So I'll make this one a label-based filter. And this is going to be a negative one. So I'm going to say this is not going to be one of the 2 labels down here. We've got a blue and a green. So I'll make sure that the green or done label does not appear within this search. And there we have a complex or advanced search. Just look at the search bar. That's what you'd have to type if you're going to manually add this in from your keyboard. And if you know that you're going to use this search again, you can click Save. Give it a name because that default one there isn't very friendly. And press Return. We now have a saved search over here that you can click whenever you want. So let's just close all of this up here and then come back down and click it again. And there, sure enough, is our search result. And if you ever want to edit this search, then just right click, select Edit. And you can see that it's essentially exactly the same as a saved group, which we covered in an earlier video. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos on Mac apps, iOS apps, anything that helps with your productivity, then please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.